Hi, and welcome back to the Motor Channel. I'm Mike, and we have a great set of car enthusiasts here in Kansas. So last week, me and a bunch of friends went to Autocross in Salina, and I rolled up and I was checking pressures on my tires, and the back right tire was at 15 psi, which is not enough. And so I was looking around it and saw that I had a drywall screw in it, which is really unfortunate. I don't know when it happened. I don't know really anything about it other than there was a screw in it and it was losing pressure. And so I couldn't run that day, which is very sad. I had a friend with me that was excited because he was going to co-run the Z06 with me. And so he was very excited and then couldn't run the car. So I felt bad about that too, kind of letting him down. But in the end, I had a friend of mine that came and another friend of mine that came that offered both their cars to me and the guy that was going to drive the Z06. And so we both drove Mustang GTs, which was a ton of fun. Tristan drove like a 2012 or 13 Mustang. And I got to drive a 2020 brand new Mustang GT. Man, what a cool experience. I had never driven a new car at Autocross. And man, new cars are so tight and feel so good. It just work really well. The programming on everything is awesome. So I have a huge shout out to Adam who let me drive his car, and I'll throw some footage of that up after the Z06 stuff. And man, what an interesting, fun car. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. Adam and I this weekend were pondering whether to go to Wichita for Autocross. His parents live in Wichita, and so he offered to spend the night there, which was great because then we don't have to drive 2.5 hours to Wichita, which is always a huge plus. And we spent the night at his place last night and woke up early and drove to Autocross this morning. I had a friend call me last night saying, "Hey, I have a stuck lug nut. What should I do?" And I said, "Torque it to the moon. Just try and get it off, you know." Unfortunately, as he was doing that, he snapped the wheel stud off of the wheel. And so he had a 4-lug conversion on his FRS, which was not ideal. And I felt a little bad because I was like, torque to the moon, and he did, and then it snapped off, which is really unfortunate and like crazy. I don't know what they torqued that thing down with originally, but it fell off. And so I asked him, "Do you want to just drive the Z06? You know, I've got a passenger seat, and you are welcome to drive the car at Autocross," which he graciously accepted. And we drove that car today, which was awesome. I love getting people behind the wheel of the Z06. The learning curve is really linear, and so it's fun to watch people get faster in that car, and it's got so much on the table that you can go out and then shave like 20 seconds off your time by the end of running, just by kind of seeing what it can do. And so it was a ton of fun to watch him. He ended up running some pretty good times, and I had a ton of fun too. This was the last Autocross of the season on the Cup 2s, and so obviously not the most ideal tire for Autocross. It's more of a road course tire, but still performed really well, and with the double driver, they kept some heat in them, which is important for those, and it was just a really good time. So I'm thankful for Adam for letting me drive his car. Ashton was obviously happy that he got to drive the Z06, and I'm more than happy to let him drive. It was a ton of fun. So I'm going to post up the laps now, and we're going to take a look at my fastest lap, and then we'll go to the Mustang stuff. So starting off the fastest time of the day here, a little slow into first, and we come around this big right-hander. Very interesting track setup here. So come around this left, and we have some very tight lane changes. Almost difficult to battle this car through them, but we ended up making it work. We come into second, and a really interesting feature, a figure 8, which you go through like a full figure 8 once here. So you come around, and then come around one more time, and you have to go through the center again as you go through. So I try to keep it really tight. I found more time by keeping it tight in there. And then we're fast into more really, really tight lane changes. So again, trying to make the most that we can with this time. And I have a bit of understeer in this corner. I lost a little bit of time there, but we're coming out again, a little power slide, and this long right sweeper. The fast sweepers are what these tires are really good at. Missed that cone by just a hair. But yeah, the fast sweepers are what the Cup 2s really like. It doesn't really like the slow stuff. It tends to understeer a little bit in the front, but maybe that's an alignment setup I can mess with in the spring. Anyway, we're coming back around to where we started the run with, and we go right instead of left. A bit of understeer again, and then we're going through the last slalom to end the gate, and a 68.3 is what we're able to achieve. So 0.3 seconds 0.3 seconds overall to the second place. So we got a good chunk of time there, and there was definitely some time left on the board. You know, I had some events where there was some understeer and where I didn't hit, you know, exactly where I wanted to in the slalom. So there was probably, you know, for me driving a few tenths of a second left, and you know, for a good driver, probably a little more than that even. So, but it was a ton of fun, and now let's move on to the Mustang. So here is my fastest run of the Autocross in the Mustang, which was the week before. Man, this car is a ton of fun. Obviously, huge thank you to Adam for letting me drive it. I mean, you know, there's some trust in there when you hand someone the keys to a brand new car. But I was really pleasantly surprised with the dynamics of the Mustang. I mean, they get kind of a rap for not having the most, you know, pristine dynamics in the, you know, for what they're doing, but this was a ton of fun at Autocross. It was like a V8 Miata, you know, it slid very progressively. The way it broke away was predictable and fun. There was a lot of both on power and liftoff oversteer events throughout our driving, which was obviously makes it pretty interesting. But this is also just a really fun course. But I really enjoyed the car in a huge surprising way. So a huge shout out to Adam. I'm gonna post up his fastest time of the day as well. But yeah, great job Ford. The Mustang's a ton of fun, way more fun than I thought it was going to be as well. So here we go, here's Adam's. Here's Adam's run. Ton of fun to be in a car with someone that is actively becoming better and better. I mean, I only shaved off like 2 or 3 seconds total on all my runs, and Adam shaved off like 15 or something. So he was improving a lot, and it's really fun to be in the car and, you know, like to be watching someone make such awesome improvements. So here's the rest of Adam's run, and I'll shut up and let you watch.
Cone. Nice. Very good.
So all in all, a pretty good 2 weeks. Obviously not ideal that I had to buy another freaking Sport Cup 2 in 315. But other than that, a great 2 weeks. It was a ton of fun, a really good end of the season, and I'm just really thankful to have a good set of friends that I can do this with. And the more people that come out that are, you know, in the friend group and the car group we have in Manhattan here, the better it is. So thanks to everyone, and I'm looking forward to next season.